What's going on YouTube? Uberman here. Today we're going to go over some basics. We're going to be talking about getting started with ride sharing in general. Uber, Lyft, Sidecar, whatever. It's early. It's 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. Nothing going on. My kids aren't home. So I've been sitting around going through my Facebook forum, checking out a lot of the posts. And I have noticed a trend. There are a lot of new drivers or people that have signed up for Uber and haven't actually driven yet because they're just apprehensive and they don't know what to expect. So I decided I'm going to put out probably a somewhat lengthy video for you guys, the people that are nervous, maybe even a little bit scared because you just don't know what to expect. And I can sit here and think back when I first started Uber. They gave us nothing, absolutely nothing. And we went into an office, a group of us went into an office. You fill out some paperwork on a tablet, of course, and then they hand you a phone and they say, good luck. That was the extent of my training, other than some online videos that basically tell you how to give a five-star experience. Open the doors for people and candy and water and gum and other than that, they didn't tell us anything. And some of you older drivers out there, seasoned drivers, if you will, come on, you know that when you started Uber, you turned on that phone, and when that thing beeped at you, you sat there and let it run out of time, and then you shut that thing right back off because you were like, no, I'm not ready. I know I did. Okay, maybe you didn't. I did. I'll admit it. I did. I was apprehensive. I was downtown Oklahoma City. I turned on that app. The first time that thing beeped, I just stared at it. And I was like, no, not doing it. Okay, so we're wasting time here. Sorry, guys. Just reminiscing. But anyway, obviously, if you're a seasoned driver, an Uber vet or whatever, you could probably skip this video because you already know what you're doing. But for you new guys, okay, well, let's start at the very beginning. You want to get into ride sharing. What do? Okay, the rules, regulations, it varies drastically from one city to another. I mean, you can have in Tulsa, maybe they'll accept a 2000 or newer car, and then in Oklahoma City, maybe it's got to be an '07 or newer. That's not how it is. I'm just saying it can be that way. So the first step is making sure that you've got a vehicle that qualifies for whatever ride-sharing service you plan on starting with, okay? How do you do that? Well, I mean, if you go to uber.com, you should be able to find it pretty easily. They have lists. If you can't, you can always email partners@uber.com. Sometimes it takes them a while to get back with you, but you can ask for a list of acceptable vehicles for whatever you're trying to do. Uber, UberX or Uber XL. Dude, they've got so many platforms. It's honestly ridiculous how many platforms they got and how drastically these platforms vary from city to city. And some of them, they even change the names of them just to screw with you. I swear that's all it is. So first, make sure you've got a vehicle that qualifies. Once that's done, it shouldn't be too hard. I mean, for the most part, in the areas that I've worked, it's been 10 years old or newer. So assuming you've got an '05 or newer vehicle, you're probably going to be okay. So you've got a vehicle that qualifies. Now you need to sign up. Okay, that's pretty easy, straightforward, simple to do. That Lyft and Uber are very easy to get signed up for. Of course, I mean, if you're a new driver or you're thinking about driving and you want to sign up, go down here into the description. Okay, right down there. Open up that description box, and you'll find a link that has my referral code. And you should get paid as well as myself. Typically, 99.9% of the time, you're going to get paid, I'm going to get paid. I can't tell you how much because depending on where you live determines how much you're going to get and how much I'm going to get. Usually, it's a minimum of $100, and it's gone up to $500. So I can't tell you how much it is. Don't ask. I'm sorry, I don't know. But if you use that referral code, we should both get paid. Now that I got my little sales pitch out of the way. Sorry, I have to, right? I mean, come on. Okay, so sign up with Uber. You're going to need a photo ID, your driver's license. They have to make sure, they're going to run a background check on you. They're going to run your driving record, make sure you don't have, recent DUIs and things of that nature. Again, varies from city to city and state to state as to what they're going to accept. Some markets, they may be more desperate for drivers, and they may be willing to let a few things slide that in saturated markets they would typically not allow to even get through the front door. But as long as you don't have anything crazy in your criminal background or your driving record, you're probably going to be okay. You're going to need to upload pictures of your vehicle. You're going to need a front photo, back photo, side photos. You're going to need interior photos of the front seats and the back seats. You're going to need to upload your insurance documentation and your registration. Another important thing to know when it comes to your insurance. This is a question that pops up a lot, so let's go ahead and get this knocked out. Can you use somebody else's car? Absolutely. You don't have to have the car in your name. It doesn't matter whose name the car is in. But what does matter is the insurance, okay? Your name has to be on the insurance as an authorized driver, which means on the policy, your name should be there somewhere showing that, even if the policy belongs to somebody else, your name has to be on it as an authorized driver on the policy. Otherwise, Uber is not going to accept you. So, if you're going to use somebody else's car, that's great. Make sure your name is on that insurance policy. Either that or take out your own insurance on it if you can do that. So, once you upload everything, there's a waiting period. They're going to run a background check on you. They're going to run your driving record, all that good stuff. Now, I just signed up somebody that's local, so I know exactly how quick it was. It was 2 days, 48 hours. That was fast. That was really fast. 48 hours, she's ready to go. You also have the option of using your own device if you've got a smartphone of your own. And this brings me to another question: how much data, is this going to run up on my phone? Honestly, guys, it's negligible. I've got 8 gigs. I guess that's okay, but when you're talking about 3 phones. 8 gigs isn't a whole lot for everybody to share. But honestly, guys, since I ditched the Uber phone and went with my own, I haven't noticed any increase in data usage at all. None. So if you want to pay $40 a month for a standalone device, basically Uber's iPhone 4 or 4S, whatever it is they're sending out now, go for it. I don't see the point in spending $40 a month when I've got my own device and I haven't noticed an increase in data usage at all. Now, maybe if you're working 40 to 60 hours a week, maybe you'll notice an increase in data. But I'm part-time, guys. I haven't seen anything. So, okay, if you choose your own device, it's very simple. You download the Uber Partner app. Very easy. They'll give you instructions on how to do this. You log in and you drive. Once you're activated, you log in and you're ready to go. So let's get into your car. Okay, we're not driving yet. You just signed up. Now you're approved. You're activated. You're getting ready to take your first run. I'm going to recommend, and this is not something I typically recommend. Let's get into another question. Should you have snacks, candy, water bottles, bubble gum, things of that nature? Typically, I'm going to say no. For a seasoned driver, if you know the city, you know the area, if someone can tell you, hey, I need to get to the JW, or I need to get wherever, a specific club or something. If you know the majority of the places people are wanting to go in your city, you don't need that because you've got experience, you're professional, your attitude and your ability to get people where they want to go quickly and safely will probably keep you at a fairly high rating. If you're a new driver, this is probably not the case unless you just really know your city. But a lot of drivers don't because, maybe you don't go to all these clubs or maybe you're going to be driving in a college town that you're not familiar with. So for you new drivers, since that's the subject we're on here, I am going to recommend that you keep water bottles. I wouldn't get the big ones. I don't know what the 12-ounce bottles or whatever. Get the smaller ones. These people are going to be in your car for just a few minutes. They don't need a giant water bottle. Get a pack of the smaller water bottles, and you can put them in the cup holders in your back seats or in the door panels in your back seats and maybe one in the passenger seat up front. Bubble gum. Who doesn't like gum? Who cares what kind? Just pick up a bunch of gum, even if it's just the like that the individually wrapped like Hubba Bubble or whatever it is. Keep some gum. I probably wouldn't go with any snacks or anything. Just some bubble gum and some water for passengers, and that'll help break the ice a little bit and lighten the passenger's mood. And excuse me, they may be a little more forgiving if you need a little bit of extra help getting them, where they're going. And if you can push this into the conversation, let them know you're a new driver. Okay, let them know that you're brand new or it's your first day and you're just trying this out. A lot of times they'll give you a break if they know that you're new and you're trying to figure this out. Okay, let's get back to the car. We've got your setup. Okay, this is what you need to focus on now. You've got a device that needs to be easily accessible and in a location that you can see it without having to really look away from the road. This is a big deal, guys. A lot of people probably overlook this little detail, but this little detail is very important. At least I believe it is. You don't want your phone sitting in your cup holder. Okay, I mean, they've got cup holder mounts where you can sit your phone down in the cup holder, but you have to look down to look at it. It is imperative that you keep your eyes on the road. I mean, you should do this anyway, whether you're driving passengers or not. But guys, you've got other people's lives in your hands here. This is not something to be taken lightly. You need to have some kind of a dash mount or a windshield mount, something to where your device that you're going to be using for Uber and GPS, it needs to be where you can see it but still have your eyes on the road at the same time. Next thing, wires and cords. As passengers don't want to see cords hanging everywhere. I've seen some Uber cars where people have dash cams, and that's another thing, guys. Check with you. If you're going to do dash cams, check your local laws. If you're going to do cabin cams where where you're recording the passengers and things like that, check your local laws before doing that. But whatever you do, guys, even if you have an interior cam and one facing the outside and your Uber phone, you don't have wires hanging all over your car, guys. Pay somebody to tuck the wires if you can't do it yourself. I used to do two-way radio installations in police cars and ambulances and fire trucks. So guys, I got everything in mine is very professional, nicely tucked in. But if you can't do that yourself and you just have to have all this technology, please pay somebody, because passengers don't like a car that just looks unprofessional and cluttered. Wires hanging everywhere is not going to get you a good rating. Okay, so keep your phone where you can see it, easily accessible, where you can keep your eyes on the road, keep your wires tucked. And in the case of your phone, obviously, if it's sitting on the dashboard, it's going to be hard to tuck the wires. Route the wires in such a manner that they're out of the way. It's nice and neat. There's lots of ways you can do it, guys. Just figure it out or pay somebody to do it for you if that's the case. I will also recommend a standalone GPS. It is not a necessity. But guys, there are times when something happens to your phone or whatever. The phone can lock up, the Uber app can lock up. You can have glitches, and if that happens and you don't know where you're going, and the passenger, believe it or not, sometimes the passenger doesn't know where they're going either, you need a standalone GPS. I rarely use it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't use my standalone GPS very often, but I spent $500 on it. I was not screwing around, and that thing has saved my butt on more than one occasion. It has definitely paid for itself in a few separate occasions where I had phone issues. So if you have an issue with your Uber phone or your personal phone and the app locks up, you don't trip, don't worry about it. Okay, do your best to not focus on the phone. Just get the passenger where they need to go. Okay, if you can help it, don't even let the passenger know there's a problem. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want the stress. Get them where they need to go. You can fix it later. Worst case scenario, reboot your phone. When you pull up the Uber app again, it should pick up pretty much where it left off, and you can end the trip. I know it's weird, but somehow the Uber app brings itself right back to where it was. End the trip, and it knows exactly how far you've driven already. You don't have to sweat that, so don't worry about it. Okay, so you've got everything set up. Your car is ready to go. Make sure your car is clean. Uber does not recommend air fresheners. I disagree. Passengers love my air fresheners. I love I go to Walmart, I buy the Trees, the vanilla aroma. I have never had a passenger say that they didn't like it. Passengers usually get in my car and they're like, wow, this car smells really good. I condition my leather on a weekly basis. My dash and everything gets, I don't use Armor All, I use Meguiar's, something other, Supreme Shine. It does not attract dust. It is not a greasy feeling anything. I also use Meguiar's leather conditioner, which is also very nice, but not, not greasy. People don't want to, yeah, I don't like that greasy feel. So make sure your car is clean, as clean as it can be. Your carpets are vacuumed, dashboards wipe down everything. Okay, now you're ready to drive. Where do you go? Where are you supposed to drive? Well, that's tricky, and I can't give you that answer because there's so many different states and there's so many different cities that Uber is in right now. What I can help you with is download the passenger application for Uber. Okay, not the driver app, the passenger app. You're going to want it anyway. I mean, if you're an Uber driver, you should use Uber from time to time. I mean, it's definitely worth it to take a ride as a passenger to get an idea. I would do this before you even drive. Take a ride as a passenger just to get an idea of what the experience is supposed to be like. You can even tell the driver when he pulls up. If you use a referral code like mine, DMUWW, you get something like $20 for your first ride. You can take the ride for free. It doesn't cost you anything. But if you're a new driver, you really should get that experience. Find out what it's like to be a passenger so that you can get an idea of what you need to do for your passengers. It's a great idea. It's free, and you can gain a wealth of information from just one trip. You also get to converse with the driver. Okay, talk to your driver. Ask questions. Maybe they'll even help you out as to where you need to be in your area. But let's get back to where you should be in your area. You need to be in a high traffic area, okay? That doesn't necessarily mean you have to be right in the middle of downtown. Download the passenger app, and when you pull it up, you're going to see little Uber cars everywhere. Or Lyft is the same way. I focus on Uber. Understand, I'm not necessarily just talking about Uber, but pull up the Rider app. Look at where the cars are. Where you see a bunch of cars is probably going to be a high traffic area. This is where people are making money. But you don't want to get yourself caught up in the middle of all of those cars because all of those people are fighting for scraps. I mean, that's almost literally what is going on. If you've got 15, 20 cars clustered in just one area, guys, everybody's fighting over a few people. So move around them. Even if you just want to go a few minutes outside of them, north, south, east, west, whatever, just keep a little bit of a distance from them, because while they're clustered in one area, you can worry about getting pings from the entire area outside of where they're at. If this isn't working out for you, maybe there's too many cars downtown or whatever, and you're just not getting any pings, then try moving. Move up to a suburb. There's bound to be a suburb near you that is busy. And a lot of times you're going to get runs from the suburb back down to downtown area. That happens all the time. Again, use the Rider app and try to stay away from all the other drivers to keep a little bit of a distance so that you have an area pretty much all to yourself. That's advice I wish somebody would have given me, and I use it every time I Uber, and it never fails me, guys. Not ever. So let's move on. You've got your location, you're ready to go, you're logged in. Okay, the phone beeps. The next step is very simple, guys. Take a deep breath. You're going to be okay. And tap the screen. Accept the ride, okay? Even normally I say don't take rides that are 15 minutes away or whatever. Just do it. Okay, this is your first ride. You got to get this out of your system. I'm sorry, my phone is going off over. People are blowing me up all day, every day. Price of fame. Kidding. Okay, accept the ride. Just do it. You're going to be okay. Trust me, you're going to be fine. Get this out of your system. Push the button. Next thing that's going to happen is it's going to want to navigate you to the location of your passenger. Okay, there's a little navigate button. If you don't know where you're going, you're going to want to use that. And even if you do know where you're going, you're still probably going to want to use it. It's very helpful, if nothing else, just as a reference. Go pick up your passenger. Okay, if it's at a house, I usually pull up in the driveway. You don't have to. You could pull up alongside the curb if you're not comfortable pulling into somebody's driveway. But, whatever. Get get as close to the passenger as you can get. They don't want to walk any further than they have to. You don't have to open the door for them. If you want to, I guess go ahead, but that's something that I don't think very many people do. When the passenger opens the door, here's what I usually do. I acknowledge them. I try to acknowledge them before they acknowledge me. I think it's a matter of respect. This is a service industry, and we are supposed to be providing outstanding customer service. So they shouldn't have to have the first word. That should be you greeting the passenger. As soon as my back door or front door, they are allowed to sit in the front seat. As soon as the door opens, a smile on my face. Hey, how's it going? Just something simple, something short. Some passengers don't want to have a conversation, and that's fine, but acknowledge them, welcome them, make them feel comfortable. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Having a good day? And they're like, yeah, I'm doing great, man. I'm drunk, having a good time. I'm like, well, that's what the weekend is. So yeah, I have had passengers apologize. I'm sorry, I'm drunk. And I'm like, hey, man, don't be sorry. It's the weekend. This is what the weekend's for. This is what I'm here for. You drink, let me drive. Be positive, be happy, have a good positive energy about you. Don't go into this. Come on, this is fun. It really is. This is a good time. You're going to meet some really cool people. You're going to have some bad experiences, but come on, guys, that's life. You got to take the good and the bad, the bitter and the sweet. You don't get to have it all. Next, I ask, so where are you headed to tonight? I only drive nights, so where are you headed to tonight? And they'll either give me an address, or a lot of times they'll be like, well, go up to Wilshire and then make a left and then turn right on May. And then, if they want to give you directions, hopefully you know the streets, at least the main ones. If not, and this happens to me, guys, and I've been driving this city forever, there are times where, I don't know, brain fart. You forget where you're going, where you're at, whatever. It happens to the best of us. I know, because I am the best of. No. Just trying to screw with you a little bit. Smile, man. Be happy. Okay, so if a passenger wants to tell you, instead of giving you an address, don't try to force them to give you an address. Okay, if they say, hey, get back to such and such a street, then head left or go east or whatever. This is where the standalone GPS comes in really, really handy. A good one. Okay, on mine I have a Garmin NEWB 30 something. Garmin NEWB 3587 LMT, I believe is what it is. It was about $500. I think you can get it for $350, $400 now. It has a zoom feature on the screen. So if you're a little bit confused about where Wilshire is, well, you can zoom in on the screen. And the other thing, hey, if you don't know where the street, if he says get to Wilshire, just replace that with any street name in your area. And you don't know exactly which way that is, if you have to, only if you have to, ask the passenger. You can tell them, hey, I apologize, I'm not familiar with this area. If you can tell me how to get to Wilshire, I'll get you the rest of the way, no problem. Okay? But guys, please try not to ask the passenger, because really they don't like it. They expect that we're going to know where we're going. But if you have to, get them to get you to the main street, and then use that GPS, zoom in, and you can follow the streets, and it's a lifesaver. It's a lifesaver. I'm not kidding. If your passenger wants to have conversation with you, talk to them. Try to avoid things like politics, religion, things of that nature. If the passenger starts talking about things and it conflicts with your beliefs or whatever, your morals, this isn't the time for a fight, guys. This is not a time for a debate. It's hard to do. Swallow your pride. Just smile. Nod your head. Maybe agree. Maybe say a word or two. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah, it sucks. It's a service industry. Keep the passenger happy. If they're getting too crazy with you, throw them a bottle of water and some bubble gum to shut them up. Kidding. But, for you new drivers, definitely offer something to them to try to help lighten the mood a little bit, and that should help you with your inexperience. Okay, now, you get the passenger home. Again, you can pull up in the driveway. Passengers, I think, typically prefer that you get them as close to the front door as possible. So, drop them off at home, or if you're dropping them off at a club, obviously dropping off at home is pretty easy. Pull up in the driveway, or just pull up alongside the curb. get out in the trip. But if you're dropping off from, say, a neighborhood to downtown, like you're dropping them off at a club and it's a Saturday and it's midnight and it's hopping, it's busy, it's crazy, traffic is backed up. There's no easy way and probably no right way to do this. I'll tell you what I do. I will get them as close to the establishment as I can. I'm not going to put anybody at risk, and I'm not going to do anything that's unsafe. So what I will do is I'll get them as close as I can. If traffic is backed up, I'm going to tell them, hey, do you want to wait and we'll get through traffic and get up there, or do you want me to just stop and you guys can hop out? Most of the time, if it's within a block, they'll hop out because they don't want to wait and they're not trying to run up the meter when they can walk a block. Unless it's raining or something like that. Inclement weather will obviously affect the outcome there. But get them as close to the establishment as you can. And if you can't pull over on the side of the road to let them out, which a lot of times you can't because traffic is just backed up, turn on your hazard lights. Let people know, hey, something's going on, and let the passengers out. And then, you can turn off your hazard lights and go. Okay, so now whether you've dropped them off at a club or you've dropped them off the house, you've dropped off your passenger. Your trip is over. Okay, end the trip. And don't forget to rate your passenger. I'm pretty sure we have to. I've never seen an option to let me get out of rating the passenger. Rate your passengers fairly. And keep in mind your passengers are going to be rating you as well. Now, I don't think the ratings are that big of a deal. I think that if you focus on your ratings too much, it will be detrimental to your customer service, and it's going to be detrimental to your morality. Guys, don't worry about your rating so much, okay? When you're new, you start out with a 5-star rating. It will go down. I'm sorry, I've seen a lot of people really upset about this, but your rating is going to drop. It just happens. There's no reason to be freaking out about it. I'm at a 4.81. I've got 3,500 trips under my belt. There are a lot of people with a higher rating than me, and I'm considered one of the top authorities, probably the top authority when it comes to Uber. My rating is not outstanding. I would consider it average. If you get down to a 4.6 or below, you need to start watching your back because your job may be in jeopardy. So ratings are very important. They're not to be taken lightly, but at the same time, it's not something that you need to focus all of your energy on. Focus on giving quality rides, getting people where they need to go in a timely fashion, in a safe manner. Something that can help you with this, different people have different driving styles, but I will tell you that when you are rideshare driving, everybody should have pretty much the same driving techniques. You should be hyper vigilant. As I said earlier, you've got other people's lives in your hands, guys. I come to a complete stop at stop signs. And even when a light turns green, guys, I will look twice each direction before going through a traffic light, through a stop sign. I do not screw around. I take safety very, very seriously. I've never had a complaint. It may take an extra 2 seconds, but I want to make sure I'm not pulling out in front of somebody. Especially on the weekends at night, guys, you're going to be driving with people that are driving drunk. It is very important that you pay very close attention to what's going on around you for your own safety, but primarily for your passengers' safety. They're relying on you to give them a safe ride. So don't speed. Okay? Sometimes passengers will ask you, hey, man, can you go a little faster? I can't because I don't want to get a ticket. Getting a ticket could affect my ability to drive for Uber. Most passengers can respect that and understand that. If not, too bad. Adios. Okay, they'll be out of your car soon. You don't have to deal with them anymore. Be careful, guys. Stop at stop signs. Do not accelerate too quickly and do not brake excessively. Come to a slow stop. Passengers don't want to be jerked forward when you hit the brakes, and they don't want to be thrown back in their seat when you hit the gas, okay? Just be careful. Slow down smoothly, speed up smoothly, make it a very smooth and comfortable ride. Jump back to the rating real quick. I apologize. I skipped a little part here. rate your passengers appropriately, and hopefully your passengers will rate you appropriately. Every ride is not a 5-star ride. And that's the way passengers see it because they just don't understand how the rating system works, and they don't understand, and you may not understand either. So I'm going to explain it quickly. Uber has a star rating system for the passengers and for the drivers. It goes from 1 to 5. 1 obviously is bad, 5 is excellent. Now here's how the ratings really work. If you get down to a 4.6, Uber will probably at some point terminate you, or at least waitlist you, suspend you, whatever. In other words, a 4-star is a complete fail, a 5-star is a pass. There is no in between. 4-star is no good, 5-star is pass, because at 4.6 you're done. So very important that passengers understand this, and if you can bring it up in conversation, let them know I do, and it has not affected my rating in a negative way. Passengers do not understand that 4 stars is a complete fail. They think, and it makes sense, okay, if you have an average experience, maybe rate a 3-star. Okay, just a regular ride, just an average ride, nothing spectacular, but nothing bad, 3 stars. That makes sense, but with Uber, it doesn't work that way. 3 stars, that's bad news, man. You know, that's really bad. Passengers need to be educated on this issue, and it's kind of your job to find a way to work that in pleasantly, not in a way that's pushy. Rate your passengers appropriately, because truthfully, guys, I've seen passengers with 3 stars that are still on the Uber system. So you rate them how you feel they should be rated. You should not rate them poorly if they ask you for an auxiliary cord, or if they ask you for a phone charge, or if they ask you if you've got a bottle of water. A long time ago, I was aggravated, and I made a video where I contradict this statement right here by saying that I'm going to start knocking off stars for anything, and that's not professional. I was in a bad mood. If I knew where that video was, I would delete it, because it's definitely inappropriate and it's highly unprofessional. And if that's the way I did things, I have no business doing this job, period. Rate fairly. If it was an average ride, rate it as an average ride, 3 stars. If it was a pleasant ride, 4 stars. And if just something excellent happened, or you're just totally love this person, rate them at a 5-star. If you don't ever want to ride with this person again because they were horrible, rate them at a 1-star. And then Uber will probably ask you for feedback about what happened during the trip. Okay, moving on. You've dropped off your passenger. Now you've rated your passenger, and you're logged back on, ready for another trip. Okay? Hopefully things went well. Now, let's take your next ride. This one's not going to be so pleasant. Passenger gets in your car and they puke all over your back seat. What do you do? Okay, well, first step, get them where they're going and get them out of your car. I highly recommend, I know it sounds gross, but barf bags. Most cars have pockets in the back seats. I highly recommend keeping bags out. That doesn't mean that they're going to use them, but they're there, and just maybe you'll get lucky and avoid having puke all over your car. Passenger pukes all over your car, get them home. Drop them off, get them out of your car. At this point in the trip, and you should be able to report a problem, okay? I don't have my app with me right now. Actually, I do. Let me see if I can pull this up for you. I have an iPhone. You may not have one. So let's go into the Uber app. I apologize, I didn't have this ready. I'm doing this on the fly, guys. This is not scripted. Oh, we're in Surge. See you guys later. No, I'm kidding. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to have the Uber partner app right here. Okay. I hope this is coming out. Now, when you are logged off, as I am, you can go to this little corner button right here, and you should see trip history. Let's hope I'm doing this right. Okay, there's your trip history. Okay, so let's find one. Let's do this one. Now, I Okay, good. It doesn't actually give an address. Obviously, I don't want to violate anybody's privacy here. Sorry about the reflection up here. Now at the bottom, right here, you see where it says "Need help." Click on that. Okay, and you see some things pop up here. Honestly, I don't know if that's focused or not, but I picked up the wrong rider. I found an item in my vehicle. Might as well throw this in here too. If somebody left a phone or some keys in your car or whatever, there you go. You can go to trip history, select the trip. Hopefully you know which one it was. If it's an accident where somebody puked in your car or something, you know which one that is. Click it, then click on the bottom, need help. Same thing with if you're in a car accident, had an issue with the rider, had an issue with the fare, found an item in my vehicle, I picked up the wrong rider. Now, puking or urinating or defecating in your car would be classified under I had an issue with the rider. Okay, so you click had an issue with the rider and you get two options here. You get report a serious rider concern. This could be maybe they were acting agitated to the point where you felt you were unsafe. Maybe they had a weapon. Maybe they had drugs. You had an issue with the rider. You classify that as a report a rider concern, a serious rider. This is something very serious. Uber will look into this. I've done it. Anyway, request a cleaning fee. Okay, and you're going to get this screen right here. You see the little camera down there at the bottom? Okay. Very important, guys. As soon as you have an incident where somebody has done something like this in your car, take pictures. Open up your camera app, take pictures. If you're using an Uber-issued iPhone, it's got a camera feature on it as well. It is imperative that you log off of the Uber system, get into some good lighting, and don't screw around with pictures, guys. Don't take one picture. That's not good enough. You need, even if it's just a spot this big, take 5 or 6 pictures of it. If it's a bigger mess, get pictures from multiple angles. Check, it's so gross. I've had it happen, but check things like the pillars, the trim and stuff around the windows, because a lot of time that stuff just it gets everywhere and it's nasty. Take lots of pictures because Uber may want more than just a few pictures. You request the cleaning fee as I just showed you, and then you add the pictures to it, and you in the comment box tell them exactly what happened. I mean, don't just say passenger puked. Actually try to go into some detail. The more information you can give them, the better. Okay, at this point, you're done. I mean, you should be. If someone puked in your car, you're done. You log out, you send that to them immediately. I mean, as soon as you get into some good lighting, send all of that stuff to Uber. You should get a $200 cleaning fee. Now, if it's something you can clean up yourself, if you are okay with that, go ahead. Go ahead and clean it up. I mean, I would recommend, if you're a night driver like me, it's really hard to do, but you can go to any car wash. Those vacuum cleaners are wet and dry vacs, and you can at least get the majority out. And some of the car washes have the scrubbers, carpet cleaners. You can use that, do the best you can to get it out. I also recommend using Febreze. I keep Febreze in my car, honestly, because some people just stink, and spray that around, makes cars smell great. If you want to log back in, if it was a mess that you're able to clean up on your own and you're capable of taking passengers again, stay logged off for at least an hour. At least an hour. I recommend 2 hours, but if you just need to get back to work, I think an hour is sufficient. But really, if you can, try to make it a 2-hour break. That gives Uber the impression that you needed that time to get your car cleaned and you could not work. Okay? And 99% of the time, you're going to get your cleaning fee. The same thing applies if a customer damages your car in any way, shape, or form. Another thing I recommend is take pictures of your car on a regular basis. Weekly. Weekly is fine. Interior pictures, I take pictures of my seats, my headliner, my doors, exterior, things like that. So if something does happen, Uber can come back and say, well, we don't know that it was damaged. Maybe it was damaged prior to, this customer, or maybe it was damaged prior to you even starting with Uber. Well, I take weekly pictures of my vehicle so that there's no question about it. So moving on. You've taken your rides. You've had a puke passenger in your car. Obviously, you should rate the passenger that puked a 1, but that's up to you. Okay. Um, what else is there? When do you get paid? Okay. Let's start. Let's say you start on Friday. You know, it's a weekend. A lot of people are going to want to start on the weekend because those are the money making days. Let's not be crazy here. Friday and Saturdays are the days to go out and make money. Um, so you start on a Friday, you work Saturday, and you're wondering, well, when am I going to see my first check? You will see your first check. Should the majority of you will see your first paycheck hit your bank account on Thursday morning. Mine hits around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So if you start on Friday, your first paycheck will be the following Thursday, sometime 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Maybe your bank takes a little longer. I guess some people it takes a day or two longer. I don't know why, but for the majority of us, we get our paychecks on Thursday morning. Other than that, guys, there's not really much else to tell. I think I've run you pretty much through the basics. You do need to keep track of maintenance items on your car, basic things. When you're ride sharing, you are going to be putting a lot of mileage and a lot more stress on your car. So you should definitely take better care of it. I take exceptional care of mine. Your tires should be rotated every 6,000 miles. Your alignment should be checked at least every 12,000 miles. I'll give you some tips here. Firestone offers a lifetime alignment, which means you pay about $160 one time for the 4-wheel lacer alignment. And for as long as you own the car, you can take it back and they will realign it for free. They'll check the alignment for free. This may be something that you don't think is very important, but you would be surprised how a slight alignment issue can cause excessive wear to your tires. Not to mention, it's detrimental to your fuel economy. I mean, I could go on and on about why and hows of all of this because I am an amazing mechanic and I understand cars like you just wouldn't believe. I understand how small things can lead to huge problems. And when you're talking about the kind of mileage that we're putting on our cars and the kind of money we're putting into gasoline, you need to get the most efficiency out of your vehicle as you can. So spending a little bit now will ultimately save you a ton during the course of your ride sharing driving. Alignments are a necessity. You need to make sure your I'm not going to edit it out. You need to make sure your wheels are properly aligned. So I take mine in every 6,000 miles. Firestone will let you bring it in every 6,000 miles for an alignment. Rotating and balancing. This is something people tend to forget because they don't think it's important. You have no idea how important it is. Let me tell you what happens. Because your front wheels are constantly turning different directions, and as you're going 60, 70 miles an hour, not only do your wheels, when you're going around a curve, you turn your wheels, but as you turn going at that high rate of speed, your car will lean. Now, as it leans, it starts riding on the outer edge of your tire. Depending on which direction you're going, it will be riding on the edge of your tire. This is where tire pressure comes in. If you have too much tire pressure, then you're going to be getting less traction, and you will prematurely wear out your tires. If you have too little, then your tires basically expand, and you end up riding on your sidewalls more. So keep your tires inflated to the right pressure. Most cars are somewhere between 32 and 35 psi. Very important. It's very important for your gas mileage, and it's very important to the lifespan of your tires that you keep your tires at their appropriate pressure. Same thing with the alignment. If your alignment is off, your wheels are supposed to be perfectly straight. If you've got one wheel leaning a little bit, that's going to create drag. It's going to create more friction, more heat, and it will prematurely wear out your tires, along with that drag causing a decrease in your fuel economy. Now, the reason for rotating and balancing your tires, obviously balancing your tires is it's necessary because you don't want vibrations. Vibrations also cause premature wear, not to mention it's uncomfortable for you and it's uncomfortable for the passenger. But the rotating part, you can go to Walmart. Walmart offers a lifetime, even if you didn't buy the tires from them. As long as you have good tires on your car, Walmart will give you a rotate and balance for life for around $36 or $38. It's one of those things, just shell out the money now so you don't have to keep dealing with it. You need to do that around every oil change. I get my oil changed every 5,000 miles. That's another important thing to take care of, is get your oil changed regularly. I use Mobil 1 full synthetic. I'm not saying you have to. That's what I prefer to use on my car. You know, if you want to go with something cheap, Walmart has a $20 oil change now. It's called the Pit Crew. For any vehicle that I'm not using, so much, we'll get the Pit Crew oil change. But my personal car that I love to death and that I use for Uber, it gets synthetic oil. Pit Crew oil change, $20. If you want to go with a cheap oil, that's fine. I don't care. But keep your oil changed. Air filter, keep it changed. These are things that affect fuel economy, along with longevity of your engine. Oil is very important. Rotating and balancing your tires is very important. The reason to rotate them is because, like I said earlier, your tires are constantly turning and side to side as you hit curves. Your back tires, however, stay straight. Yes, there's body roll and there's lean into them, but not nearly as much as the front, because the front contains the majority of the weight of the vehicle, because almost all cars nowadays are front wheel drive. So if you don't rotate your tires, what happens is you'll end up with front tires that don't last. They just burn out. And then your back tires will still be sitting there, good as new. If you rotate your tires approximately every oil change, that's what I do, because I go to Walmart for my oil change. I also go to Walmart for my lifetime rotate and balance that I paid for. So every oil change at 5,000 miles, I have them move my tires back to front, front to back. What this does is, instead of having front tires that are burned out and back tires that are still good, which eventually the back tires will end up dry rotting from age, this gives you the maximum life out of your tires that you can get. Proper tire pressure, a proper alignment, and regularly rotating and balancing your tires. You can take a 30,000 mile tire and get 45,000 miles out of it if all of those things are done properly. Tires are expensive. You want them to last as long as possible, so take care of them. Guys, other than proper maintenance and everything else that I've just told you, this is a complete introduction to ride sharing. From the sign-up process, through taking your first trips, through rating your passengers, through maintaining your vehicle. I can't really offer you any more. I mean, I hope that this helps. I know it's a long video. I am sorry for that, but if you're a new driver, this is a video that's worth watching. I apologize for screwing up a couple times, but quite honestly, I am tired. It is earlier than I'm used to being up, and definitely earlier than I'm used to making videos. This is unscripted. I'm not sitting here with a prompter, that I'm reading off of. I do this on the fly because I don't like scripting. I don't want to take the time to write everything out and then, I'd rather just do it on the fly. And if I screw up, I screw up. I'm sorry. I'm human. I know that's hard to believe because I'm Uberman, but, as always, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Be safe out there, and Uber on.